Apples, apples, apples. Apples are fruits that grow on trees. They come in many different shades of red, green, and yellow. There are about 7,500 varieties or kinds of apples in the world. It takes about 4 to 5 years for apple trees to produce their first fruit. Once they produce fruit, they can live over 100 years and can be as tall as 30 to 40 feet. That's really tall. Apples grow on trees and begin their life cycle as a tiny seed planted in the soil. Water, sunlight, good soil, and air help the tiny seed grow into a plant called seedling. Seedlings are small and have few leaves. After about a year, the seedlings grow into a small tree. An apple tree is full grown after about 5 years. The next part of the apple's life cycle is the buds. Small buds grow off the tree and they bloom or open up as blossoms. Those blossoms grow into apples. Finally, the apples ripen and are usually picked by hand. So, what did we learn in this paragraph? So, let's see. What we learned is we learned that apples are fruits, right? What did we learn? We learned about apples. And we learned that apples are fruits. Then we learned that apples grow on trees. Apples grow on trees. There are different shades of apples. There are different shades of apples. There are 7,500 varieties of apples. Apple trees live over 100 years. And apple trees grow and become tall. How tall the apple trees are? Apple trees are 40 feet, 30 feet to 40 feet tall. So these are some of the facts about apples. Okay? We also learned about the life cycle of apples. So apple trees start as a seed. So let me write the life cycle. So they start as life cycle of apples. So they start as a seed and the seed becomes seedling. Seedling is a small plant with few leaves, and then the seedling becomes sapling. Sapling is a small tree, and then the sapling becomes a tree. The tree gives buds, and the buds blossoms, and we get fruits. And in the fruit, we can find the seed. So it's a cycle. This is a life cycle of apple. Okay. So now let us fill in the blank. Apples are dash that grow on trees. Apples are fruits that grow on trees. Question number 2. They come in many different dash of colors. They come in many different shades of colors. Question number 3. There are about 7,500 dash of apples in the dash. There are about 7,500 varieties of apples in the world. Question number 4. Apple trees can live over dash years and be as tall as 32 dash feet. Apple trees can live over 100 years and be as tall as 30 to 40 feet. So now let's see what we understood. So before answering these questions, let me give you a few facts about apples. So we know that apples are fruits. Apples grow on trees. There are different shades of apples. Okay, and the number of varieties of apples are over like 7,500 varieties, and then they live over 100 years. The apple tree is 40 feet to 50 feet tall, and we know that an apple tree starts as a seed, becomes a seedling, and then its seedling becomes a sapling becomes a tree, and the tree gives buds, and buds gives fruits. From the fruits we get the seeds, and again we get an apple tree from every seed. Okay, so it's a life cycle of apples. Okay, so from these facts you'll be able to answer what are apples and how many kinds of apples are in the world. Why do you think it takes 4 to 5 years for apple trees to produce their first fruit? Explain the life cycle of an apple. So if you see, this is a part of an apple, parts of an apple. So the apple has seeds in it. They have stem, skin, flesh, core, and leaf. The seeds is the tiny little brown thing that the thing that you can see in the middle of the apple. Stem is the is a green thing which is attached to the apple, where the leaf is also attached. That's a stem part of an apple. Leaf is, you know how a leaf will look like. So leaf is attached to the stem of the apple. So it's all green. And then the skin of the apple is red in color. So that is the skin. The red color of the apple is the skin. And flesh is the part that we can eat. And the edible part is the flesh of the apple. And if you see in the middle of the apple, there is a small, the middle, right? In the middle, the center part of the apple is a core of the apple. Core, C-O-R-E, core of an apple. The leaves are green, right? So these are the parts of an apple. So we have learned so many facts about apples. So you can type these facts in here. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can type those facts about apples. You can also type in here.